God.
Good morning, church.
Good morning.
Thank you, my sister Josephine. That was very inspirational.
All right.
One of the young men in church last week came up to Sister Josephine and I, and he asked, "Are y'all sisters?" Who was that?
That was Jeremiah.
Jeremiah. He said, "Because y'all look alike." And I said, "Yes, we are sisters."
Yes, we are.
I just want to share a story with you. It's kind of long, but it's a very good story. And the story is about the old fisherman. The old fisherman. Our house was directly across the street from the clinic entrance of Johns Hopkins Hospital in Baltimore. We lived downstairs and rented the upstairs room to our patients at the clinic. One summer evening, as I was fixing supper, there was a knock at the door. I opened it to see a truly awful-looking man. Why, he's hardly taller than my 8-year-old. I thought as I stared at the stooped, shriveled body. But the appalling thing was his face lopsided from swelling, red and raw, yet his voice was as pleasant as he said, "Good morning. I've come to see if you have a room for just one night. I came for a treatment this morning from the Eastern Shore, and there's no bus till morning." He told me he'd been hunting for a room since noon, but with no success. No one seemed to have room. I guess it's in my face. I know I look terrible, but my doctor said it'll only be a few more minutes, few more treatments. For a moment, I hesitated, but the next word convinced me. I could sleep in this rocking chair on the porch. My bus leaves early in the morning. I told him no, we will find a room for you as I went inside and finished preparing supper. When we were ready, I asked the old man if he would join us. "No, thank you, I have plenty." And he held up a brown paper bag. When I finished the dishes, I went out to the porch to talk with him a few minutes. It didn't take long to see that this old man had an oversized heart crowded into that tiny body. He told me he fished for a living to support his daughter, his 5 children, her husband, and he was hopelessly crippled from a back injury. He didn't tell it by way of complaint. In fact, every other sentence was prefaced with "Thanks to God for a blessing." He was grateful that no pain accompanied his disease, which was apparently from a form of skin cancer. He thanked God for giving him the strength to keep going. At bedtime, we put a camp cot in the children's room for him. When I got up in the morning, the bed linens were neatly folded and the little man was already out on the porch. He refused breakfast, but before he left for his bus, he asked, "Can I have a great favor? Could I please come back and stay the next time I'm here for treatments? I can sleep in a fine chair." He paused a minute and added, "Your children made me feel at home. Grown-ups are bothered by my face, but children don't seem to mind." I told him he was welcome to come again. And on his next trip, he arrived a little after 7 in the morning. As a gift, he brought a fish, a big fish, a quart of large oysters, the largest bag I've ever seen. He had already shucked them the morning before he left, so they'd be nice and fresh. I knew his bus left at 4, and I wondered what time he had to get up in order to do this. Over the years, he came to stay with us there. There was never a time that he did not bring us fish or oysters or vegetables from his garden. Other times we received packages from him in the mail. When I received these little remembrances, I often thought of a comment our next door neighbor made after he left in the morning. "Did you keep that awful looking man in your house last night?" I turned him away. You could lose your guests by putting up such people, you know. Maybe we did lose a few guests, maybe once or twice. But oh, if I could only have known him, or if they could only have known him, perhaps their illnesses could have been easier to bear. I know our family always would be grateful to know him, for we learned what it was to accept the bad without complaint, and the good was gratitude to God. Recently, I was visiting a friend who has a greenhouse, and she showed me her flowers. We came to the most beautiful one of all, a golden sunflower, bursting with blooms, but to my great surprise, it was growing in an old, dented, rusty bucket. I thought to myself, if I were this plant, I would put it in the loveliest container I had. My friend changed my mind. I ran short of pots, she explained, and knowing how beautiful this one would be, I thought it wouldn't mind starting out in this old pail. It's just for a little while till I can put it in the garden. She must have wondered why I laughed so delightfully, but I was imagining such a scene in heaven. Here's an especially beautiful one. God might have said when he came to the soul of the sweet old fisherman, "We won't mind starting in this small body." All this had to happen long ago, and now in God's garden, how tall this lovely soul must stand. The moral of the story is, the Lord does not look at things that man look at. The man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. 1 Samuel 16:7.